Hi friends, welcome to Career Connects. Today we will see what is manufacturing cost. So this question has been faced by almost 15 of my colleagues and friends when they attended different manufacturing firms. So this is very important question. Even I faced this question. So when you attend an interview for a manufacturing organization, to know about manufacturing cost is very important. So manufacturing cost is arrived at when you sum up total raw materials consumed plus direct and indirect costs associated with manufacturing. So then we need to adjust opening balance of raw materials and closing balance of raw materials. For any manufacturing organization or a company, manufacturing company, it is very important to arrive at cost of manufacturing. So in total, manufacturing cost is opening balance of raw materials, direct materials, direct wages, labor, direct expenses, indirect expenses, then we need to deduct closing balance of raw materials. So again I repeat, manufacturing cost is equal to opening balance of raw materials plus direct materials plus direct wages plus direct expenses plus indirect expenses or overheads. Then we need to deduct closing balance of raw materials. Then we arrive at manufacturing cost. So what is direct and indirect expense? So direct expenses, that can be direct materials, direct wages, or we can call it as direct labor or direct expenses, or the expenses which can be directly attributed or linked with production. For example, best example is raw materials. So raw materials we can directly link it, link up with particular production. In the same way, wages to labor, those who are working for a particular product, we can directly attribute these costs to for a one particular product. These are called direct expenses. So indirect expenses or overheads, where we cannot attribute or link these expenses for any particular product, then we call that as direct indirect expense or overheads. So examples of indirect expenses, these are all the examples of indirect expenses. Now you can understand better. So indirect materials, that can be a small tools, parts, a small portion of oils. So they consume in bulk in all the products. So we cannot count or we cannot attribute any the number of or quantity of tools or parts or a portion of oil to any particular product. They consume in bulk and to all across the company. Indirect labor, so wages for a repair staff. So repair staff, they can repair different machines, so we cannot attribute that their salary for any particular product. Indirect expenses, training costs, insurance premiums, depreciation, or utilities, for example water, lights, so these electricity bill, so these are the utilities. So we cannot attribute these expenses to for a particular product because that is for an entire factory. These are indirect expenses. So we just saw what are indirect materials, what is indirect labor, and what is indirect expenses, right? So here these two formulas, please keep that in mind. When you sum up direct materials and direct labor, that becomes prime cost. When you sum up direct labor and overheads, that becomes conversion cost. So I faced this question, what is conversion cost, when I attended interview Shell in Chennai. So conversion cost is the cost we incur to convert raw material into production. Okay, so conversion cost is direct labor plus overheads. Why is it so important to calculate manufacturing cost? We'll see. Manufacturing cost is very important to fix the pricing. You know, price fixation is very important decision for any company. So manufacturing cost, arrive at correct manufacturing cost plays vital role in fixing the price of the product. Manufacturing cost is very important for key decision making. For example, make or buy decision. Again, so manufacturing account is part of final accounts for every manufacturing company. So whenever you have been faced the question, what are the final accounts of manufacturing company, then you have to include manufacturing account as well, apart from trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet. So this is one important point, and very important from tax point of view on cost records. And again, finally, to compare with competitors. Hope you understand well about manufacturing cost. So by watching this video, you are able to address all these questions very confidently. These are the questions you may face. What is manufacturing cost? Why is it so important for a company? How do you calculate it? What are the final accounts of a manufacturing company? Do you include overheads in the manufacturing cost? Do you include salary paid to a repairman in the factory to manufacturing cost? Rent paid for a factory, is it to be included? So these two questions are bit practical questions, and these two questions were given to you based on a couple of people faced these two questions exactly in the same manner. So I repeat those two questions. Do you include salary paid to a repairman in the factory to manufacturing cost? Rent paid for a factory, is it to be included in the manufacturing cost? And final question, what is conversion cost? Thanks for watching my video. Thank you.